Welcome back to Everything Black. Um, Hope y'all enjoyed the last program. Like and subscribe. Join me. Trying to do at least two, three, four, maybe a week. Anyway, on my journey, I want you to join me. This is a black experience. Everything Black. Talk about black issues that we need to get resolved. Tonight, we're talking about the black anger and how Malcolm X his 100th anniversary is today, this month too. So I just want to get him in here and try to let us know that it may be time for black people to get that anger again. We're gonna need that. We're gonna need that black anger. And you gotta feel these brothers back in the 60s to understand black anger. Malcolm X tried to warn us. Let me turn my music down before we get started. Turn the music down. All right, let's get over here. Get the screen up. This is how black man was feeling in 1968. Malcolm X gave that warning out in 1964, 65. So here we go. This is after the civil rights movement, and this was the late 60s. Black people was not getting the promises the U.S. government gave them or promised them. They was not getting any of it. So here we go. I want to say that Malcolm X won the white establishers, the white supremacists, and Martin Luther King won the white supremacist church through religion. That all this lying to black people is gonna one day build up a bomb. So here we go. So let me push the button first. And these black men was very angry with the distrust of the government and the white supremacists, or the white supremacist government.
No, Reverend Robinson, that we want some kind of agreement. We want agreement by which we can live.
Our YouTube, Facebook. This is done for educational purposes only.
I have spoken a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. It's because you consider me a vagabond. Those net off of them because they don't. Because you have no concern for the Negroes. Listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillar. Should you try to pretend that I'm crazy? Because I want America to be saved. Riots that goes on in this country, in this city. The city is better than. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this? If in your guts.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word. All right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were told us you will take word and let us justice and right stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal piece, a little piece, you're playing games with us. We're not children. We're big men. I've seen my coming back and they're mad, they're angry. Do you think that they're going to sit down through this? Our fathers didn't have the knowledge that we have. They sat through it. But there are other black youth that are not going to sit through it. We know about Che. We know about Fanon. We've read the books of our revolution. We've listened to Mao and his quotations. We know where we stand. We're not going to sit for it. We're asking, we're prepared to hold a loaf of bread right in front of me so I can see it, and I keep asking him, I'm begging him to please give me a slice of the loaf of bread. I am hungry. Then it is known by every psychologist that the next step in the progression is I am going to knock him upside the head and take the bread from him. I'm not to death asking. No one likes the smell of blood, but no one wants war. Anyone who's been in war doesn't want war. Everyone knows he has to die. My wife has to die. My brothers and sisters have to die. No one wants that. But you're pushing us to it. You're leaving us no choice. We're asking, we're begging the students to Columbia. They ask the brothers down south fast. The brothers colleges money so that they could be, and yet still they ask and ask and ask, and you refuse to give them anything. Now we're just about out of patience. We're not going to ask anymore. The news media says that it's only the young that are militant, only the young that want this and want that. Okay, but we're 40% of the black population now. Or we were a year ago, and still yet we're climbing. Before long, we'll be 50%, 55%, and then we'll have the command. We're not going to take it. We're not going to take sitting in rotten parks and in places that just aren't fit for living. We're not going to take it. There's a limit to a man's patience, and everyone knows it.
Like I'm saying, the black youth, the black people was tired of the lies. And you notice in the 70s, things kind of changed. You know, we started getting segregated. We started, integrated. We started going to the clubs with the white people. You was a few black people able to live around in the white neighborhoods. Okay, uh, certain places we was starting to be allowed to do. We were allowed to go into their restaurants and sit down. Um, a lot of us was going to college, graduating, becoming very wealthy in the game of education, sports, you name it. We entertainment. We were doing it all. 70s, 80s. Okay, all of a sudden they just stopped allowing black people to go to school. All that started slowing down. The sister kept the thing going though. Um, so by uh, the 90s, everything just went whack. Okay, a lot of black people had got put behind bars, especially in 95, 96. They come out with that crime bill in 94. Um, a lot of scamming, all that, drugs, gangs, all that shit happened. Late 80s, early 90s, rapping, hip hop, all that stuff, uh, gangster rap, all that started happening in the late 90s. And so you got us to about where we are now. So these guys was frustrated. They wasn't getting in. And it was a time bomb about to hit. The black people were like, hey, you don't let us in, we finna do damage. You've made us a promise in 65, 64 with the civil rights deal. Well, you're gonna have to open up some doors. Because black people was frustrated. And so we had Malcolm to come on and give us the warning. After these brothers here, the first two guys I showed, they came in and you can kind of feel the frustration of all black people, the elderly black people and the young black people. I just wanted you to see two different guys making their plea. And I think it was a sister in there somewhere. I don't see her on here. But anyway, we're going to go ahead on and stop sharing. And get over here to Malcolm. Giving us the last warning. Right about here, I want to start. Fair use YouTube, Facebook. This is used for educational purposes only.
That made it flow in 63, been removed. The causes are still there. How can you sit around and naively, in such a naive way, and make yourself think that things are getting better when the causes that created the bad conditions still remain? The only one whose problem is
about
is the leader. They get, while the people have no peace.
Yeah, just
Up there,
the civil rights
while he's
movement.
up on the people are in the valley. I'm gonna tell you why it's on the floor. And then bring my little talk to a close. In 1964, 97% of the black American voters comfort in the Democratic Party. 97%. No one minority group in the history of the world has ever given so much of its uncompromising support black people in America in 1964. Look how many people voted for Goldwater. Over 26 million. Why? When you deduct the non-white people from the total white population, you'll find out that white people were almost even. Go get the total number of voters in this country and find out how many of them are white. Deduct the non-whites, the Puerto Ricans, and the Negroes, and the others. You'll find out like they want to brag.
Yeah.
Not for him, 90. When the representatives from the state of Mississippi who refused to support Johnson came to Washington, D.C. to challenge the legality of these people being treated, what did Johnson say? Nothing. What did Humphrey say? Nothing. What did Robert Pretty Boy Kennedy say? Nothing. These are the people that black people have supported. Visited them last couple of days ago in Washington, D.C. They were where they always are, twiddling their thumbs someplace in the pool room or in the gallery. So black people in 1964 will not be controlled by these Uncle Tom leaders. You won't be there. They'll be held on the plantation by these overseers. They won't be held in the corral. They won't be held back at all. The prostration of these black men that the great society is going to include them, only to see the door closed in their face like that. That's what makes them think. That's what makes them realize what that produced the Mau Mau. They reached the point where they saw it takes power. It takes we should see a lot of action. Since the old haven't worked, they'll be forced to transfer. In this U.S. and world war, they call it the Big Six. The leaders of the black community who have been endorsed by the white community, the Big Six, they themselves are turning to Africa. Dr. King, Farmer, all of them are admitting that the problem of the black man in America is inseparable from the problem of the African. Dr. King and Mr. Farmer and the others, Roy included, Uncle Roy, are admitting that the problem of that the black man cannot get dignity in America until the black man has dignity on the mother country. They're admitting this. They're admitting that the roots of the black man in America are still in Africa. They're admitting this.
Well, I like to say that this part, we as Foundation Black America has separated ourselves from the so-called tethered class. These are people who come from other countries who have came here and separated themselves from us. So in those days, we thought that we all had something in common because we were black, because we was all oppressed by the same oppressor. So that's why Malcolm was saying what he was saying. They thought that they had something in common, and they thought that the Africans and the Puerto Ricans and the the Jamaicans and the uh, Caribbean people and the Hispanic people and the Latinos or whatever would all join in, and the Cubans and join the blacks. So we would have a brown and black community. And we found out here that these people are on the white supremacist side. They have already signed up with them. And they have already come in there and contradicted everything we tried to do. Everything we was trying to accomplish, they sabotage it. Okay. We learned that. Now, back then they didn't know that. That's why Malcolm is kind of saying what's going on over there. They realizing about the power. Okay, but they got so many tribalism over there. That destroys Africa. That destroys our strength. And then they backstab each other. So that's what Malcolm is trying to, or at the time was believing. So we're going to let him continue.
To see him admit so much so soon, so publicly. I was shocked to see that they will say in public what they've always agreed to in private. I was shocked. But it shows that they themselves are undertaking a revolutionary approach to the problem. They're beginning to see that the problem of the black man in America it's a world problem. Then if I struggle with the on the mother continent, then these nationalizing. Now either they have to deny it or confirm it. But I don't think this magazine would say all what it is. And quote them to strangeness among U.S. There is a certain Negro that is of importance in the United Nations, a quality that the Negro are accustomed to receiving in their own country. Dr. King taught. He was up on the mountain. Solution to his problem. It will have to be a solution which the government in Washington has no hand in. Because the government can't solve the problem. The government consists of crackers in Georgia and Alabama and Arkansas and Texas. To the United Nations. It is not we who have committed the crime. It is not we who have committed the crime. It is our government that has committed the crime. Our government has failed to protect our lives, to protect our property, to give us proper education. It has failed to even give us the proper facilities for education. It has failed to house us. It has failed, as the men there in the book up in Boston, when they dumped all the tea in the sea. Taxation without representation has got to go. So I say in my conclusion, to read from another newspaper, many of you say, well, would we have the right to take the problem of the black man in this country before the UN? I say yes, because here it says, this was in the Post a couple days ago. The Post is a New York paper, represents itself as liberal, which is a misrepresentation. It says, House asked to condemn Soviet treatment of Jews. Representative Halpern of Queens urged the House today to condemn what he termed the odious and discriminatory treatment of the Jewish community in the Soviet Union. He drafted resolutions for introductions that would condemn Russia for the persecution of Jews and placed the House on record as favoring continued American efforts to obtain through the UN world condemnation and prohibition of anti-Semitism in treaty form. Soviet policy, Halpern said in a prepared speech, involves a premeditated effort to stamp out Jewish culture and religion. It is a deliberate policy, but also a secretive one. If this representative voted into office, probably by many people sitting right here, can go to Washington, D.C., and get that house, that governmental body, to stick its nose in what's happening to 3 million people all the way on the other side of the world, and have that government brought into the United Nations and condemned for its abuse of the rights of those 3 million people. I say
end with hope. He ends with clarity. He starts by exposing the massive political show voted for the Democratic Party, believing it would defend their rights. The seating of racist officials. Black leaders who were supposed to stand up stayed silent. Not a word from Lyndon Johnson, who black voters supported without hesitation. But when it was time to return that support, when it mattered, they were absent. The message is not subtle. He wants people to stop waiting for these figures to deliver anything. He wants them to stop trusting in people who have repeatedly shown they cannot be counted on when it matters most.
So as you can see, and I'm about to end my program, that Malcolm warned us about these Democrats. When we need them most, they're never there. And we vote for them at that time, 97% of us. And I think we did the same thing with Barack. I think about 97% of us voted for Barack. Because everybody else splits. The Hispanic splits, the African splits. You can see Africans all on Trump team now. The Caribbean people all on Trump team now. The Dominicans, the Cubans, you name it. If they're an immigrant or a tether, they all on the opposite side or they split with each other. Black people are the only people that vote one way. And as you've seen in 2024 or 2024, black people just stepped away from the voting thing altogether. The majority of us, that's why Kamala didn't win. Uh, See, it's not based on the baby boomers no more. They're almost out of here. A few 5, 10 more years, the baby boomers out of here, all of them. Then you got to deal with my generation of people, which most of us are around our 50s right now. So we got 30, at least good 30 years to get rid of all this shit that these Democrats are doing and these Republicans. We don't go either way. We saying we need to back away from all them and get our own part. That's why I basically started everything black, so that we could fight and get our party together, uh, which is the Black Party, for black power and black progress and black agendas, get our fight going, because all these other black organizations don't represent us at all no more. We have nobody really representing black people. We have people representing the LGBTQ. We have people representing the immigrants, but nobody represents the Foundation Black America. And so we would represent ourselves when it comes down to it. And I think that's what everybody about to do now, is just say screw what the government is doing, because they don't do anything for us. So it's just time for us to make them do something for us, show them what type of power we got. We showed that in 2024 that we wasn't having it. So we wasn't giving Kamala Harris or Joe Biden no power. We took it away and gave it to Trump by not participating. So if y'all want to vote, y'all want us back on the team, you got to give us a contract. And that's a black agenda, which is anti-hate crime bill for black people and reparations. Those are the only two ways we're going to start back voting for y'all. So until y'all get that, you won't be getting nothing from us. Anyway, this is Frank Blunt, Everything Black. Join me again on the next program. Until then, love, peace, and happiness.